The Israeli raid on the flotilla heading for Gaza. They include Sydney Morning Herald journalist Paul McGough and photographer Kate Geraghty. They've had their video footage confiscated. Another Australian is in hospital after being shot.
Paul McGough and I were sent by a newspaper to do a quite large investigative piece as bona fide journalists to observe and document. We knew that there was a very good chance that the Israeli Navy would obviously intercept. I thought they'd use tear gas. There had been no other indication, in the past that they had used live ammunition, let alone wounding or killing people. So I didn't think they'd kill people. Yeah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
I remember hearing the call to prayer go out on the Mavi Marmara. We were probably 100 to 150 metres to the left and at the rear of the Mavi Marmara. And all of a sudden, out of the sky and out of the water, because it was very dark, out came all these Israeli attack boats. And then momentarily after, explosions on the second deck at the rear. Basically, I was photographing all of this going on, and then we were up alongside, kind of right alongside the Mavi Marmara. The Mavi Marmara captain radioed the Challenger 1 vessel that we were on and said to break away from the flotilla, to go as fast as possible, try to get to Gaza. But he also said, get the news out, get the news out. When I was getting up, the first Israeli commando on top of the boat, he lunged over the top of me, face down onto a couch. He forcibly seized my camera off me. Paul and I were stating that we were Australian journalists. The first commando said, "We know you're from the Herald." The second commando said, "Yeah, no worries." So we said, "Oh, there's Australian accents." And the second commando said, "Yeah, no worries."
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
This is one of the longest wars since World War II. Like 5 million people have died, millions have been displaced. But in every story, or in several stories, there'd just be one line that said, sexual violence is being used as a weapon of war, or 1 in 4 women are being victims of sexual violence. And in the absence of a justice system, these women were incredibly brave and told their stories. They went into such detail that it was just, you're exhausted by the end of the day, and you can only imagine, having to ask people to relive and recount, what obviously is probably one of the worst days of their life. And then we also interviewed 2 men who were My militia, who had actually, as one as a child soldier, had committed heinous rapes, and the other man, a My rebel, former rebel, had also committed, several rapes. The child soldier actually had committed 80 rapes in a 6-month period, but he was a child when he did it. And so, it was just, his life is destroyed. And he was, out of the 2, he was the one that actually showed remorse and wished that he could, apologise and, to all the women. But he also now spends his time trying to go around and teach other men that sexual violence is wrong. So these are all different parts of an assignment that, you know, you never thought that when growing up, that you would be sitting in the Congo listening to a former child soldier talk about, you know, the heinous crimes that he's committed, and also what has happened to him as well. He, as well, was a victim